Welcome to Backstage 360. Well, today it's a little bit about politics, girl power, and celebrity. I'll have a nice chat with the Honorable Kim Campbell, former Prime Minister of Canada. Later on in the Loft session, Stuart Murray drops by for a chat. He also is a former politician, a businessman, and a rock and roll star. We'll have musical performances from Sweet Alibi and Sheena Grob as well. But right now, we're going to start off the show with Backstage Pass. We go behind the scenes of our beloved Burton Cummings Theatre. That was announced just this past spring that True North Entertainment has taken over. Let's find out on what they've been doing on the inside. Kevin, I really want to admit right now that I really want your job because I think it's the best job ever to bring in entertainment. But I know being a senior VP for True North, head of venues and entertainment, there's a lot of pressure, but you have a big announcement with this place.
Well, we have a new venue and a new toy for it. And sometimes I feel like I would want to give you my job, but today's not one of those. We're so excited to be able to confirm our intentions to continue programming. We've been involved now for about 2 years.
Yes.
And we've decided to take the leap off the docket, and we're going to purchase the building. We're in the process of doing that now. And so it allows us to just look now long term at what we can do, the programming, how we treat the audience, the kind of shows we get in. So it's and what we can do to this building, what we can do sort of in this neighborhood. It's a great project.
Okay, so you are in charge of entertainment. What level or what kinds of entertainment are going to be specific to the Burt?
Being able to accommodate a wide variety is really the goal. You want to be able to say yes to every opportunity that comes along. You want to be able to say yes to every patron that wants to come in and experience something here. So, you know, it's a wide slate, and we think that this building is capable of doing that with a little help, with a little love, with a little improvement. So that's where we want to go.
Yes. Okay. So you promised us a Backstage Pass tour of the Burt. So let's go with Kevin.
Let's go. Each room you go into, you say, "What can I do here?" And you know, we're not done anywhere. You know, we're painting, we're refreshing, we're windows and doorknobs and that sort of thing. But every one of these efforts does help to make the building that much more functional. So, you know, the carpet has to be refreshed, and that'll happen in time. But we think the fact that every light bulb now works, every door now functionally opens and closes, and you're in this great space that we call the Burt. And you know, so it's unique. It's a fantastic place to come and meet people, you know, before a show. It's a great place to be able to have a drink, take it to your seat, really enjoy live music in a very sort of ambient environment.
Oh, it still is so beautiful.
It is, it really is. You know, when we got it, when we arrived 2 years ago, they didn't have the skills and the army of staff that I have at the MTS Center and at True North. We could come in and we could fix the seats. You know, these seats were secondhand when they were delivered to the Burton Cummings Theatre in the early 90s. So they're well past their prime life. So we managed to take advantage of an opportunity. These seats came to us from Minneapolis. We're recovering them, reconditioning them, and we're installing them here. The front 8 rows will be removable. So when you have shows where the audience likes to stand up and kind of create a mosh pit, we'll have that ability to be a GA standing area or fully reserved main floor with brand new seats throughout. This view is what makes it so remarkable for the performers, and this, you know, this will never change. This is going to be this grand opening, this proximity to the public. That's what makes this building special for the performers.
What is the capacity right now?
We're 1,500 seats. We're about 500 per level, and we're going to pick up a few more seats on the main floor with the new seats. The first balcony will stay the same, and the second balcony, we're just working through what the plans might be to, again, the goal is to add more comfort. So there's wooden benches, we're gonna put cushions on the wooden benches is the current plan. Whether the benches leave over time, we haven't decided or figured out a way to replace them. But, you know, there's lots to do, but there's lots to love.
Oh, wow.
But this space used to be quite decrepit, I would have to admit. I mean, it was covered in graffiti. It had some charm for some people. But you know, like the furnishings were either non-existent. There was folding tables and chairs, and the room wasn't insulated, so you would hear noise from below, and it was very loud to work below this space. So we've insulated the floor, we've leveled it, obviously painted and redecorated and made it. This is now the private lounge for the performers. We used to do crew catering here. That's now moved below the stage.
Okay.
So
all
we've
right.
just, again, taking that space below the stage was not usable space. It was equipment and garbage and just, other bits. So now having this extra space by activating that space below means I can give this dedicated to the artists themselves. So this was an unused space. It was full of broken equipment. It was full of, there was actually a toilet here but there's no running water, but someone actually brought a toilet and left it up here. I don't understand. But again, it was just an opportunity for us to reconvert a space from being completely unusable into something totally functional. So come on in and see the gym.
Wow, you weren't joking.
No, this is equipment that leftover equipment from the Winnipeg Jets. So again, having that inventory behind us, having that opportunity, the people, the equipment, and the technology, it's quite simple. Make the space, make it clean and presentable, bring in a couple toys, and away you go. It's a functional gym. So the crews come in off the bus and they get to unwind and sort of re-energize before they get to their work day.
Yes, and what about the dressing room?
Let's go see where, it's nothing overly difficult to achieve. You just have to make the commitment to say, we want it at a certain level, we're going to keep it at a certain level of cleanliness.
Yes.
And it maybe not has had that commitment before, but we just think that, like, making sure that the light bulbs work, making sure that there's a picture on the wall. These were actual shows from the Walker Theatre era that we found in old newspapers that we had recreated and blown up and put them up. So again, it gives some context for the performers to know
Exactly.
a bit of the history of the building.
Well, there's so much history here in this building, and you compare it to across the street at the arena, which is still considered young and new and vibrant. But I mean, I think you should keep the history here because it means so much.
Yeah, we will try. I mean, and the other part is try to tell that story, to let the people who are coming in, both the performer and the patron, know that Charlie Chaplin played here, that the Marx Brothers performed here, Bob Hope performed here. And so did Blue Rodeo in 1991 when they were the first band to come here after it opened as a movie theater. But Jaws was screened here when it was a movie theater. Gone with the Wind played here in the 50s. It was a significant hall at every stage of its life, whether it's vaudeville, movie theater, or a live venue.
Wow. Well, once again, congratulations, Kevin. No fears, the Burt is alive and well. And thank you for our little Backstage Pass tour.
Thank you so much for coming.
He's a rock star, he's a politician, he's a humanitarian, he's a wonderful father, and a loving, loving husband. Who is he? Well, must be you, Stuart Murray.
Well, what a great introduction.
Well, I was trying to figure out, you have worn so many hats in the city, and I know that the show is largely entertainment and the arts, but you have dabbled in music, but you have brought so much to the forefront for us. So we're going to start from the very beginning. Saskatchewan boy moves to Winnipeg.
Yeah.
Yeah, and was that kind of when you got a little bit into the music scene, or was that later?
Kind of started then, Tracy, because Winnipeg is so vibrant from the music scene. Of course, I was here in high school, but there were so many great band bars. That was fantastic sort of vibrancy there, and so that's kind of where we got started.
Okay, and a certain band I remember, Blood, Sweat and Tears. You have a great connection with them.
Right, yeah. So that was the latter part. I moved to Toronto, and I got involved in an organization there called Westbury. And so we were a sound and lighting company, and we toured with Bruce Coburn and with Murray McLaughlin, and sort of got involved in that. And then when David Clayton Thomas was putting Blood, Sweat and Tears together, he came to Toronto to rehearse, because Clayton Thomas is a Torontonian. He brought all these Americans in. So I helped him set that up, and then at one point he said to me, "Hey, do you want to come on the road with us?" And I thought, wow, young kid, who wouldn't want to do that? So it was a great 5 years of my career.
Okay, and then you moved back to Winnipeg in 1986 with your lovely wife, Ashley. You have 2 wonderful daughters. You came back and you started working for Domo.
Right.
We all know that jump to the pump.
Absolutely, yeah, for sure. So again, another great opportunity to be part of the community, Tracy, because I think Domo, although it was a Western Canadian retail gas company, it was a family owned by the Everett family in Winnipeg. So really enjoyed that part of the business and working with young kids, and sort of that whole jump to the pump philosophy was really through the whole organization. It was great.
Okay, so we'll get into your life in politics, but if you go back and you think of those years that you worked, you know, behind the scenes of a rock and roll band, and you kind of see where it has taken you in life. Have you drawn from those experiences? Has that helped you along the way?
You know, I would say this, and I have to be careful how I say this because I think, you know, I've got 2 kids and wanted to make sure they got a great education. But one thing about the music business is that I think it teaches you street smarts that you're not going to get in a lot of other places. I mean, you're dealing with a lot of people, you're dealing with a lot of money, you're dealing with a lot of fast-paced issues, and so for me, I think it gave me a great grounding in terms of how, you know, looking at people, can you trust them? Do you trust the situation you're in? I learned a tremendous amount, something that I'm not sure that I can share, but it's something that I feel very, very personal about.
Yeah. So now, do you go out and see local music here?
Yeah, I think, you know, again, I think Winnipeg should be kind of the center for music in Canada. I mean, we may not have the biggest population like Toronto or Vancouver, but the number of artists that have come out of the city, I mean, and by the way, I just want to say thanks to your show for giving them a platform, because I think that's what's required, is they work hard, but a lot of people aren't aware of them. So through your show, I think you're going to give them great exposure. But I think the music industry in Winnipeg is bar none the best music industry. I would say I would rival North America. It's vibrant, and it's not just rock and roll. I mean, there's some great Celtic music, there's some great indigenous music here, there's some great country music. So you get the whole gambit. And I think that the Grammys, or you know, every time the Junos, I should say, every time we do a Juno Award, it should be in Winnipeg, period, full stop.
I know.
This should be the home.
I know. We know how to put on a good show.
Absolutely.
So moving into politics, you know, a great career too. I guess, what has it left on you, your political career?
Well, to be candid, Tracy, it didn't kind of work out the way that I had hoped. I mean, I think most people get to have the privilege of leading a political party, as I did. And the idea being is that you hope that you can work hard to earn the trust of the voters of the province of Manitoba to become the premier. That didn't work for me. Having said that, though, there isn't a moment that I don't look back on that and say, you know, wonder if I did the right thing. I know I did. I got to travel this amazing province of Manitoba. I went to fairs, I went to people's homes. I heard, you know, during the whole issue with the BSE, where people were challenged with what they were going to do with the mad cow disease. I mean, you sat literally across the table for some of these incredible entrepreneurs that are called farmers that learned a way to sort of get by, and how communities came together. And so traveling the province of Manitoba really opened my eyes to what an amazing province we live in.
Well, and it's an interesting time now that the Progressive Conservatives have come back into the party, you know, to lead our province. And
sure.
What do you see in the future?
Well, I think first and foremost, what a tremendous you know, amount of support that Mr. Pallister gets a record number of seats. So I think that's a wonderful thing. But like most opportunities, I think that Mr. Pallister has a great opportunity to bring in new energy, new ideas, and I think that's what the electorate look for when they make a change. And certainly he's got some great talent in his caucus to move towards cabinet. So I look for great things from Mr. Pallister.
Yeah, and I'll just let you into a little secret. I will also be having or airing the interview I did with the Honorable Kim Campbell. So that name rings a bell, correct?
Yeah, for sure. So I had a chance to work with at that time the Prime Minister, and I helped when she ran against Mr. Jean Charest for the leadership of the party, and I helped her, and I just felt that she was a really wonderful individual who really had a different view of what Canada was about. In fairness, we did not do so well at the polls in that election, but you know, I've had a chance to meet her, and I know that you've interviewed her.
Yes.
And what I admire about her is that she's never wavered from what she believes is the right thing, not only for Canada, but I think the place of women. She's very, very passionate about it, and I went to see her speak at the Canadian Museum for Human Rights around the issue of the 100th anniversary of the suffragette women. And I sat there and I just sort of thought, I thought I knew you, but you know, I listened to her again and I thought, wow, how great was it to be in your presence to really get your views, because they're very succinct and very passionate and very practical.
Oh, I know. And speaking of the Canadian Museum for Human Rights, you actually too were from the grounds and seeing the building built, and you know, opening the doors to what this museum will represent. Yeah, I guess that leads me to now what you're working on. You're really trying to put a lot of things into place and make Winnipeg a global center.
Well, you know, it goes back, Tracy, to a speech that Art Morrow, I think I'll just call him one of the, I hope this doesn't sound wrong, I call him a godfather. I mean that in a very, very it's sort of amazing way. He's one of the founding fathers, I think, of what makes Winnipeg a great city. And he gave a speech back in 2009 about the great sort of human rights history that we've had in this province. And just sort of saying, when you look at the Canadian Museum for Human Rights or the Morrow Centre for Peace and Justice at the University of Winnipeg, or University of Manitoba, I should say, and Global College, which is at the University of Winnipeg, Rotary International, I mean, you got to go on, and there's so many amazing things happening in the city of Winnipeg. And I think his sort of challenge was, how do we take that, embrace it, and give it an international voice so that Winnipeg becomes branded as a place where we talk about the education of human rights. And so that's a project I'm just starting to work on, and I'm very, very energized because the reception, I think people are saying it's our time, it's Winnipeg's time, it's time to do something great.
Well, it sounds really exciting, and again too, if you come and look downtown and all the things that are being built, and this really is truly a beautiful city.
It truly is.
Yes.
Yeah, no kidding.
So I wanted to talk about famous people that you've met.
Right. Right. Yeah.
Before we end.
Okay,
Yes.
so I mean, again, fortunate to work with when I worked for Prime Minister Mulroney. Of course, I had a chance to meet President Reagan and at that time Vice President Bush and then President Bush, and in the music industry, I had a chance to meet quite a few people, Rod Stewart and others, just that sort of came across different areas. Bruce Springsteen, of course,
really?
who's my all-time hero. I just happened to be fortunate enough that I was traveling in the States, and I was able to, with Ashley, we went to see Springsteen play in Los Angeles a month ago. And it's probably about the 12th time I think I've seen him, but yeah,
him.
But I got to say, here's the thing: at the end of 3 hours of playing, nonstop playing, 3 hours, he gets to the microphone and says to the audience, "Have you got anything left out there?" So he played for another half hour. 3.5 hours later, everybody's exhausted, goes home, and it's why I think Bruce continues to be this iconic working class musician that I think has rallied so many people and means so much, means a lot to me.
Well, before you go, Stuart, maybe a little tribute to Prince.
Well, there's an incredible musician who has changed people's lives, and I saw him here in Winnipeg. I saw him at the Burt, and it's one of the first concerts, Tracy, I went to in Winnipeg where when he came out, people stood, and they stood for the entire concert. It was amazing. So we've lost a great one, but the memories will still be there and always be with us. So Purple Rain, awesome.
Purple Rain, forever.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Stuart. What a wonderful life.
Great, Tracy. Thanks for the opportunity to be on your show.
Coming up after the break, it's Snack and a Movie with filmmakers BJ Verreau and Melva McLean.
Just crinkles and